What is happening, ladies and gentlemen? Todd Falcone here on another blog post. Hey, I want to do a couple of things. First of all, I want to reiterate a point that I made on a very recent blog post, the one that was 60 seconds that'll change your life. Talk a little bit about that, and then also talk about how to give a proper testimonial, which I talked about recently on one of my calls. So one of the things I discussed in my most recent blog post is how to encapsulate a short story about what you do essentially so that the person is like drooling and wanting to go look at your information. And I talked about this before, but I want to just kind of reiterate the critical importance of this. And this is about you taking your business and what you do to a higher level so that you're really a big performer, that you're not average, you're highly above average, you're superstar status, or whatever you want to call yourself, so that you're producing results and you're doing so consistently. This is what happens a lot of times. People will call somebody up, and especially if you're a student of mine that plugs into and uses my Insider Secrets to Recruiting Professionals method. You pique somebody's interest, you call somebody up and you say, "Hi, my name's Todd Falcone. I'm giving you a call. I'm expanding my business down in the Bakersfield area. I saw your smiling face on your website. Wanted to give you a call. I've got a very simple question for you, and that is, do you at all keep your options open in terms of making any money outside of what you're currently doing as a realtor?" And that's essentially my peak interest question that I teach. And you're only going to get three answers. You're going to get yes, you're going to get no, which is rare, or you're going to get it depends. And if I get an it depends, I do what's called a reframe question. And I'll reframe the question, and it might be something like this. Well, Bob, let me rephrase the question. Let me ask you this. If I could show you something that you could use in your business that would enable you to be even more productive than you already are, and at the same time, increase your overall cash flow, and in other words, provide you an additional stream of income outside of what you're doing in real estate, is that something that you might at all be inclined to take a look at? And generally what will happen is you can take an it depends and turn it into a yes. But see, we're not in the business of just sending out information. A lot of people are just like, oh, I want to get a yes, then I zip out information. Get a yes, then I zip out information. The key is you don't want to just send out information. You want to get them to look at the information. So you've got to say something, especially when the prospect, and this happens often, they're going to say, well, what's it all about? Or can you give me some idea of what we're talking about here? Because they're not really likely to go run over to their computer or grab the mail and listen to the information or check out the information unless you have done a good job of giving them a reason to go look at it. Now, just saying the peak interest question really isn't reason enough. But what you got to be able to do, and my suggestion is you get with somebody in your upline, and you guys are all in different companies, so I can't give you a specific, 60-second little skinny or whatever you want to call it, elevator pitch or 60-second encapsulated story that's going to get them excited. You've got to figure that out on your own, but you've got to be able to formulate something that you can say within 60 seconds to 2 minutes to a prospect that gets them to react and essentially go, wow, how do you do that? Or wow, where can I go get that information? I want to learn more about that. How in the world do you do that? And so it's all about really, and we've heard this, the WITDFM, what's in the deal for me? What's in the deal for me? In other words, what is it? I mean, we want to be talking from a benefit standpoint. We want to be talking about the benefits to them when you're making that statement. So if I were posed that question, give you an example. Somebody says, well, what's this all about? Well, first of all, you want to find out how much time they have. And if it's, I only got 30 seconds, give it to me in 30 seconds. That's not enough. So a prospect says, I got a minute. I'll say, well, how about 2? Can you take 2 minutes? And they'll go, oh, yeah, no problem. I can take 2 minutes. Well, let me tell you a little bit about what we do. I have a product that can, when you take it, when you use it, will make a dramatic impact on your ability to produce better results in your real estate business. In other words, help you to attract more people, help you to close more business, help you to, you fill in the blanks, right? Whatever it is. I mean, and we're talking, there's nutritional products out there, there's identity theft protection, there's telecommunications services, there's all sorts of stuff out there. And it doesn't matter what it is that you're marketing, you can and you should be able to put together a short little story that gets them to go, wow, I got to go look at the information. So there's two things that I do. I market to them in the conversation itself, getting them to be more intrigued, more apt to go look at the information. And then when I do, and if I choose to send them an email, I will use that email as an opportunity to further market. In other words, I don't just say, hey, Joe, good chatting with you. Here's the website I just told you about. Boom, go here. What I'll do is I'll put information in there that whets their palate, that gets them to want to know more. They're like, wow, $1 billion business, in business for 17 years, things that might excite the person. My suggestion to you is get to the person in your upline who is a pro, who's a leader, who's getting it done, and say, if someone were to ask you, give me the 60-second skinny on what you do, what is it? And get really good at telling that story. That's really important, because what that'll do is that'll take a situation where you're sending people to something and actually get more of them to look at it. Because one of the biggest questions I get in the office is, Todd, I talk to people, but then they never get to the information. Well, you got to give them a reason to go look at the information. The last part of this thing on this blog post that I want to talk about is, we've heard this phrase, facts tell, stories sell. You want to get good at telling stories, whether it's a product story or a business story, some kind of testimonial. And I want to lay out real quickly how you give a good testimonial. And you've got to be good at giving a great testimonial to get them to look at your information. So essentially, the components of a great testimonial are this. Prior to trying this product, I was lacking in energy, wasn't feeling so great. My fax machine's going off. I was just dragging throughout the day. I was taking naps throughout the day. And after having taken product X, I now have way more energy than I've ever had in my life. I feel better. I just feel more productive. There's a better sense of well-being about me. And I'm just kind of getting things done like I've never done before. Now, that might be a good type of testimonial that you would use for like a nutritional product. The key thing is, in delivering a testimonial, it's got to be 60 seconds or less. You don't want to be ramble. I've seen people at events given a microphone. They're like, no, it's like, give me the microphone. Take the microphone. Just give them the hook. Pull them off the stage. You want to be able to do this in like 60 seconds, and you want to teach your distributors, people that you're working with, to tell whatever their story is, whether it's a product-oriented story or a business story, and do so concise. And the basic components are this. Prior to being involved in this business, I was a struggling teacher, making ends meet, but things weren't really, really kind of just running out of money. And after having been in this business for 2 years, I was able to walk away from my job. I now earn more money in a year by like 3 to 4 times than I ever was as a teacher, and I have way more free time and don't have to worry about, dealing with kids all day, or whatever the story is. I'm just kind of giving you some ideas, but it's prior to my involvement in this. This was my experience. Since having taken this product, or since having used this service, or since being involved in this business, this is what's happened for me. And then you finish it up with, and the best part is. So prior to being involved in this business, I was a broke, teacher, wasn't making very much money. Since being involved in the business, I'm now making way more money than I ever was as a teacher. And the best part is, I now have free time to spend with my kids, to do things that I wanted to do that I never had before. That's how you deliver it. Remember that. Use it. Teach it to your distributors. Sayonara. See you later. Todd Falcone, another blog post. We'll see you soon, I'm sure. Have a good day.